Rangada,
Yes, tell me.
Rangada, I think that last line, 739, we have to redo that paragraph.
Acha, okay.
Or have we done it? The others might.
739.
We had read the paragraph, the last line.
Yes.
Redo that paragraph.
That's right. Something was remaining. Yeah. Okay, so we start from, but it must be observed. Okay. We do the whole paragraph, just quickly read.
Rangada, the next paragraph. Rangada, the next paragraph.
In fact.
Last line. Yes, Rangada. That paragraph has to be redone.
Okay.
We had read it?
Yeah. So we have read it. So I'll read each sentence and we'll see whether it's clear. In fact, life, mind, supermind are present in the atom, are at work there, but invisible, occult, latent in a subconscious or apparently unconscious action of the energy. There is an informing spirit, but the outer force and figure of being, what we might call the formal or form existence, as distinguished from the immanent or secretly governing consciousness, is lost in the physical action, is so absorbed into it as to be fixed in a stereotyped self-oblivion, unaware of what it is and what it is doing. So, the first part is very easy. Okay. He's saying, in matter also, there is involution. If involution is there, then evolution is possible. If nothing is there, nothing can come out of nothing existing. This idea, first I came across in Vivekananda. He said that there can be no evolution unless there is an involution. If it's already there, it can come out. The tree is there in the seed, that's why it comes out. In fact, life, mind, supermind are present in the atom. So they are already there in matter. Are at work there. Not only they are there, but they are working. They are active, but invisible. Invisible to us. Not to everybody, but to us. Occult. The word occult means hidden. Okay, it is hidden. Latent. Latent means there is possibility of also coming out. Okay. Latent. That which is latent can develop out of the base structure of whatever is there in matter. In a subconscious or apparently unconscious action of the energy. Now, this is very interesting. Subconscious means there is a little bit of consciousness. Okay. Or apparently unconscious action of the energy. Apparently unconscious. But it is there. Okay. There is an informing spirit. Informing. Srivda uses the word inform in the sense that going into the form. So the spirit has gone into the form. If there is a stone, the divine consciousness has gone into it, but in the process of going into it, it loses its own consciousness and becomes very small, like a seed. Okay. So of the energy. There is an informing spirit, but the outer force and figure of being, what we might call the formal or form existence, as distinguished from the immanent. So, in a stone, the form is a material stone, and the divine consciousness is there. As distinguished from the immanent, that which is hiding, full consciousness, that which is hiding in the form, or secretly governing consciousness. So, there you are. The consciousness is there everywhere, and it is governing the behavior of the stone, the caterpillar, the cat, the dog, the human being. Even human being, we are not conscious of the governing consciousness. We are not conscious. When you do become conscious, it's a huge experience. The psychic being comes forward and you realize that there is another consciousness guiding you from within. But in the normal, at a lower level in matter, it is lost in the physical action. Okay. So, the consciousness comes in and gets mixed up with the material substance. And it is, you can't see it anymore. is so absorbed into it as to be fixed in a stereotyped self-oblivion, unaware of what it is and what it is doing. So it is itself. Whatever consciousness is there, it does not know what it is doing. The word stereotyped is interesting. It's fixed in a stereotype. Stereotype means, let's check the dictionary. Stereotype. What exactly does it mean? Stereotype. They are saying a widely held but fixed and oversimplified image or idea of a particular type of person or thing. The stereotype of the woman as a carer. So when you think of a woman, you think of her always as a cook and a carer. So that's a stereotype. Or a second one would be relief printing plate cast into a mold made from composed type or original plate. But obviously that's not the meaning. The first meaning is the correct one. A widely held but fixed and oversimplified image. Idea of a particular type of person or thing. The idea. Okay. The cat, for instance. Okay. We know what the cat is. It's our idea. And the consciousness there is of its own nature. So there is a stereotype that is talking about. Okay. And so fixed in a stereotyped self-oblivion, unaware of what it is and what it is doing. The electron and atom are in this view eternal somnambulists. Somnambulist, moving in a sleep. Okay. Ambling is moving, but somnam, that is the sleep. So moving, sleepwalking. Okay. It is walking, it is acting, but does not know what it is doing. Okay. That is the nature of the consciousness in the electron and the atom. Okay. Each material object contains an outer or form consciousness. Now note that, form consciousness. In a human being, the form consciousness is the body consciousness. There is a consciousness in the body. But mostly it is not, it is very, very, at a low level of consciousness. It's not a mental consciousness at all. Okay. It's a physical consciousness. So he has used the word somnambulist. Walking, doing. The electron is moving, but does not know what it is doing. Okay. Each material object contains an outer or form consciousness involved, absorbed in the form, asleep. That's why somnambulist. Seeming to be an unconsciousness driven by an unknown and unfelt inner existence. Seeming to be an unconsciousness, driven by an unknown and unfelt inner existence. He who is who is awake in the sleeper, the universal inhabitant of the Upanishads, an outer absorbed form consciousness which, unlike that of the human somnambulist, has never been awake and is not always or ever on the point of waking. So, what's he saying? The electron, that means at the material level, the electron and atom are in this view eternal somnambulists. Note the word eternal. Of course, Ranga will not agree with that. Okay, he will say that there can be some upsurge of consciousness and an evolution. Each material object contains an outer or form consciousness, a body, involved, absorbed in the form. In the form there is a consciousness. Asleep, seeming to be an unconsciousness driven by an unknown and unfelt inner existence. To be more specific, it is moving but unconscious. See the blood. Okay. The blood is doing a particular work. It is circulating, distributing food to all the cells, each cell, and removing all the waste material from each cell. So there is a purpose. But it seems to be mechanical. That's what it is. Everywhere in nature you will see that. There is a purpose. And purpose indicates consciousness. It may be at a very low level of consciousness, but it is consciousness. Okay? Hunger is also a form of consciousness. You need to eat because the body needs it, but it's not a conscious, it's not a mental consciousness. It's a form consciousness. Seeming to be an unconscious, driven by an unknown and unfelt in the world. Unfelt by whom? Unfelt by the consciousness of a slightly higher mental consciousness. He who is awake in the sleeper. Now he is talking about universal consciousness in matter and everywhere. Okay? The divine in the cosmos. The universal inhabitant of the Upanishads. An outer absorbed form consciousness which, unlike that of the human somnambulist, unlike, but has never been awake and is not always or ever on the point of wake. In the human being, you are asleep and you can wake up. But in matter, there is only sleep, there is no waking up. That's what he's saying. Apparently so. Okay. In the plant, this outer form consciousness is still in the state of sleep. Whatever it does automatically. Okay. It grows, it produces fruits, it produces vegetables, it interacts with the universe, it interacts with the environment, and it takes water from the soil and sunlight from the... So it is all doing conscious works. Consciousness is something wherever there is a purpose in the action, it is consciousness. There can be a purposeless action. Then you can't say that there is consciousness in it. But when there is a purpose in what it is doing, then there is a consciousness is certainly there. So in the plant, this outer form consciousness is still in the state of sleep. But a sleep full of nervous dreams, always on the point of waking, but never waking. Then finally, from matter to plant life to animal life, life has appeared. Okay. In other words, force of concealed conscious being has been so much intensified, has raised itself to such a height of power as to develop or become capable of a new principle of action, that which we see as vitality, life force. So, the gradation is very clear. In matter, consciousness is there, but let's put it this way. There is consciousness and there is force. The force in matter is very, very active. We know that. But it has absorbed and made consciousness its prisoner. Okay? You can see it in that way. Prakriti is lording it over consciousness in matter. Okay? It is force that is, it has completely absorbed the consciousness under its foot. And Prakriti, the force is telling consciousness, you go down, you are under me, okay? You are not to move. So consciousness agrees very willingly. But consciousness is a slave to force in matter, but it is after all consciousness, so it rises. Insistently it rises, and in the plant, it shows itself more. It's a sort of game between Prakriti and Purusha. Purusha is the consciousness and Prakriti is the force. So in the plant, the Purusha seems to be telling Prakriti, you can't hold me down all the time. I'm going to slowly emerge. But it is still under the domination of force. Force is more apparent than consciousness even in the plant. Then life comes up. So we're saying, now life comes up, consciousness is asserting itself over the force. In man, both the things are there. There is consciousness and there is Prakriti. 90% of the time, normal human beings are only force, action. We are action-oriented, desire, attachment, ego. But consciousness is trying to get free. And it gets free with yoga or with development of life, development of the being through many lives. Then consciousness becomes free and comes out. So in the self, the consciousness has come out, but it has still no power over force. That is the reason why when you are in the self, in the consciousness of the Brahman, you are free. Matter has no more hold on you. You are master of yourself, but you are not master of matter. So if you want to become master of matter, in other words, you want to become master of your body, mind, life, you have to go up even higher. Finally, at the highest level, you have complete control over force. And force also, they are actually equal to each other and they cooperate at the supramental level. Force and consciousness become absolutely equal companions. Okay? So this is a game that is being played, and in the lower levels, it is force that is winning the game, and consciousness is apparently losing, but willingly losing. Okay? This is a game that is played. Purusha and Prakriti are constantly exchanging. Consciousness and force are constantly exchanging glances with each other, playing with each other. In Savitri, you have a very clear description of this. Okay? So at the lower level, force is winning. At the higher level, in the middle level, consciousness has become separated from force and is not slave anymore. But at the highest level, consciousness becomes master. They cooperate with each other. This is what he's saying, but he's describing only the evolution, physical evolution at the lower level. So, life has appeared. In other words, force of concealed conscious being has been so much intensified. The consciousness is insisting that I will come out. I will not be held under your foot. Okay? Consciousness has been so much intensified, has raised itself to such a height of power as to develop or become capable of a new principle of action. That which we see as vitality, life force. It has become vitally responsive to existence. That means interacting with the environment. Matter does not interact with the environment apparently, but in life there is interaction with the environment. Vitally responsive to existence. Though not mentally aware, and has put forth a new grade of activities of a higher and subtler value than any purely physical action. The stone remains exactly where it is, but the tree is interacting with the universe, water and light, and producing fruits. It is interacting. Okay? So, at the same time, it is capable of receiving and turning into these new life values into motions and phenomena of a vibration of vitality, life contacts and physical contacts from other forms than its own and from universal nature. So, plants are actually interacting with the universe, with the environment, but we don't see it. It is absorbing light, it is absorbing water, and also giving out oxygen at night. So there is a constant interaction. This is not possible at the stone level, but it is possible at the plant level. So it has increased. Definitely there is a more intensification of consciousness. So this is a thing which forms of mere matter cannot do. That's exactly what you said. A stone remains exactly where it is not interacting with the environment. But a plant is interacting very clearly with the environment. This is a thing which forms of mere matter cannot do. They cannot turn contacts into life values or any kind of value. Particularly because the power of reception, although it exists, if occult evidence is to be trusted, is not sufficiently awake to do anything but dumbly receive and imperceptibly react. Now, what's he talking about? There are certain forms of matter which dumbly receive. If you put some force into it, it reacts. Mother's blessings packets, okay, rose petals, or the dalim fruit, divine love fruit and flower. The flower petals of divine love are capable of receiving. So mother can charge them, okay, but dumbly receive and imperceptibly react. In other words, it is also influencing. That's why they tell you sometimes to wear red ruby stones. They interact also. Imperceptibly, but they are reacting. They are absorbing and reacting even in matter. In plant, this becomes more apparent. Partly because the energies transmitted by the contacts are too subtle to be utilized by the crude inorganic density of formed matter. It is inorganic, but in the plant, the organic nature of the plant is beginning to show itself. There is the flow of, what is it called? There is a flow of these sap. That's right, the sap. It goes there, it climbs, the sap climbs up. And then there are also different forms of reaction. Fruits, flowers, leaves. Okay. So this is it. But in the stone, all this is not there. But in the plant, there is all this. It is no more that crude as matter. That's what he said. Life in the tree is determined by its physical body, but it takes up the physical existence and gives it a new value or system of value, the life value. So, in matter, no reaction and seems to be absolutely dumb and dead, but it is not. It's there in the very low level of consciousness. In the plant, that low level has become slightly higher level. That's what Shabli said. And you see life very clearly in the plant. You don't see it in the stone, but it is there, sleeping. So, very interesting language, but you have to concentrate very carefully as to what he's saying. Okay. So, anyway, it's clear what he's saying, the basic idea. Right? So now we go to the next one, the transition to the mind. So, one of you has to read. Who's read today? Shiva has not read for a long time. Would you like to read? I don't know if she's there.
Okay, Dada.
Yeah, okay, read. The transition to the mind. So, matter, life, and now we come to mind.
The transition to the mind and sense that appears in the animal being, that which we call conscious life, is operated in the same manner. The force of being is so much intensified, rises to such a height as to admit or develop a new principle of existence, apparently new at least in the world of matter, mentality. Animal being is mentally aware of existence, its own and others, puts forth a higher and subtler grade of activities, receives a wider range of contact, mental, vital, physical, from forms other than its own, takes up the physical and vital existence and turns all it can get from them into sense values and vital mind values. It senses body, it senses life, but it senses also mind. For it has not only blind nervous reactions, but conscious sensations, memories, impulses, volitions, emotions, mental associations, the stuff of feeling and thought and will. It has even a practical intelligence founded on memory, association, stimulating need, observation, a power of device. It is capable of cunning, strategy, planning. It can invent, adapt to some extent its inventions, meet in this or that detail the demand of new circumstance. All is not in it a half-conscious instinct. The animal prepares human intelligence.
Now, so clearly he is telling us, and he is seeing so deeply. Okay. So first there is matter which does not seem to have any life at all, and it is not interacting with the environment. The plant starts interacting with the environment apparently without any consciousness. But it is there. Now you come to the mind. And what is the difference between he is giving very interesting words which show the difference between life in the animal and life in the plant. So let's have a look at what he is saying. The transition to the mind and sense. The sense is there in the plant, but very little. When you touch the plant, it sometimes closes. Okay, so there is a sense. Sense is there, but the sense is very much there. It reacts, but we don't see it. You don't see it. But in the animal, you see the sense very clearly. The reaction, you see it very clearly. And that's why he's including sense, because in the animal, the sense mind is the manas, what we call it. The manas is the most active. The vital mind, but the mental mind, the pure mind is not there in the animal. It is there in potential, but it is not there apparently. So, the transition to the mind and sense that appear in the animal being, that which you call conscious life, is operated in the same manner. Now note the word conscious life in the animal. In the plant, life is there, but it doesn't seem to be conscious. Actually, if you remember, there is a consciousness because there is a purpose. It seeks light and it seeks water, which is a purpose. So if purpose is there, it is there, but it's a very low level of consciousness. Okay? Very interesting. So, that which you think has no purpose, but there is a purpose. I think I told you a very interesting thing. I was in the press and we had a huge water tank. And there was a realization tree very near to the water tank. So one day we decided to clean the water tank. I told you this. We decided to clean the water tank. And when we opened and when we went in, we saw that the walls of the tank was full of the finest, very fine fiber of the roots of the plant had come in to suck water from the water tank. In other words, the plant knows that there is water there and it manages to even pierce a brick wall to suck water from there. If this is not consciousness, what is? Okay. So there is a consciousness in the plant which you don't see, but it is there. But that consciousness in the plant, in the animal, it becomes you are able to see it. When the animal goes and reacts and wants to take food, it acts in such a way that there is a purpose and you see the purpose. It's very interesting. So, conscious life in the animal, unconscious life in the plant. Okay. Is operated in the same manner. And what is that manner? Consciousness is forcing itself to rise. The force of being is so much intensified, rises to such a height as to admit and develop a new principle of existence. And what is that? Mentality. This is Sirno's, again, he has used a parenthetical phrase with a comma dash, comma dash. And what is that? Apparently new, at least in the world of matter. Okay? And what is that? Life. Okay? Life in the plant does not move. Locomotion is not there. But in the animal, life also becomes possible. Animal being is mentally aware of existence very clearly. Okay. Now contrast this with the plant. The plant life is not aware of existence, apparently, but it is reacting with the existence. Okay. So animal life animal being is mentally aware of existence, its own and others. There you are. Now, plant also does not seem to be conscious of itself. Okay? But the animal is conscious of itself and the environment, both. Okay? Its own and others puts forth a higher and subtler grade of activities. And what are those activities? He is going to list them. Okay? Subtler grade of activities receives a wider range of contacts. What does that mean? It is reacting with not only with water and sunlight, but with other things. Okay? It is interacting with human beings. It is interacting with other animals. That's why wider. The plant is interacting only with the light and the water. That's mainly. But here it is interacting with everything in the universe. Mental, vital, physical. From forms other than its own. Takes up the physical and vital existence and turns all it can get from them into sense values and vital mind values. Now there you are. The animal has senses. It is the plant neither has eyes nor ears nor tongue nor skin. It doesn't have these things apparently, but they are all there waiting to emerge. They are latent. That's the word latent. But in the animal, they are not latent anymore, but very, very clearly visible. Sense values and mind, vital mind values. Now, what do you mean by sense value? When I am tasting food, I can make a difference between sweet, sour, okay, fiery, okay. I can make these are the sense values. Let's go. Okay. Pleasant and unpleasant, all these sense values. And vital mind values. Vital mind, that which is beneficial to me and that which is harmful to me, that also is vital mind values. It senses body, it senses life, but it senses also mind. So, in the animal you have all these, but mind is still awakened, but not yet fully active. For it has not only blind nervous reactions, but conscious sensations, memories. We know that animals have memories. We know very clearly. Dogs bury bones somewhere and next day they'll go and dig out that bone. Or the crows, we've seen crows also hide food in trees and next day they'll come and take that food again. Impulse, it has got impulse. All these things that he is listing now, the plant does not seem to have. Conscious sensations, memories, impulses, volitions. Volition means will. The act of willing is volition. Emotions. Emotions are there in the plant also, we have seen, but they are not visible. But in an animal, emotions are very, very clear. It gets angry, it starts begging for food. It is capable of love. All this is capable. Mental associations. It can recognize people. Okay? If you hit a stone to a dog, next day it will start barking at you. It will remember you. Okay? Mental associations. Stuff of feeling and thought and will. It has even a practical intelligence. That now man has made many, many interesting experiments and they have found that intelligence is there in animals, but a practical intelligence. Not a mental intelligence, but a practical intelligence. How to get food, where to get food, all these things. Founded on memory, association, stimulating need, observation. They are very, very observant. Okay? A power of device. Now that's a very interesting word, a power of device. They know what to do, the technique of getting something, they can develop that device. It is capable of cunning. There is no cunning in a plant. Strategy, planning. See, each word is making a distinction between the plant and the animal. Very interesting. Cunning, strategy, planning. It can invent, adapt to some extent its inventions. Meet in this or that detail the demand of a new circumstance. Now, very interesting. Let's try and give ourselves examples. He is capable of cunning. Okay, we know that. Okay. strategy, planning. Even the animal can do that. Okay, planning, cunning, strategy. I'll give you examples. Very easy. The bird, okay, the bird with long legs stands in water and it takes a dry leaf and throws it on the water. The ripples make the fish in the water seem that there is an insect there, so I'll go and swallow that insect. And when it comes up, the bird catches it with its long beak. So that is a strategy, cunning and planning. It can do that. Okay, that's possible for the animal. Look at also the spider. It has got cunning, it has got strategy and planning. It plans a web. Why? It's got a purpose. I want to catch the flies. And when they come, it swallows. So it's capable of cunning, strategy, planning. It can invent. Now that's very interesting. Adapt to some extent its inventions. Okay. The spider is an invention. Is inventing. Okay. So, adapt to some extent its inventions. Meet in this or that detail the demand of new circumstance. Okay. Also, there's another one. It can invent, adapt to some extent its inventions. Okay. There are many animals which spit out a dark thing which protects itself. So there is the device that is given to it, it knows how to use. The snake, it can spit out venom. That also is possible. Look at the badgers. There's an animal called a badger which emits a horrible stink. So that the attacker goes away. So all these are examples of how the animals can plan and invent and adapt to some extent. Meet in this or that detail the demand of new circumstances. All is not in it a half-conscious instinct. The animal prepares human intelligence. And when human intelligence comes in, it's a totally different ballgame. We've got 3 minutes. But in 3 minutes, maybe we can read let's see how big the para is. It's quite a big para, very big para. They are not going to do it. So, House Sivya is going deep into, so observant. Okay? We don't observe all these things. We don't see the differences between all these. But he has so clearly given each word. You can see that he is making such a difference between the plant life and animal life. And the animal is preparing in synthesis, if you remember, he says that the animal is preparing, is a laboratory. Animal life is a laboratory where human life is developed. And human life is a laboratory where the supramental life will be developed. He says that in the synthesis. So this is what he is describing here in different way. Talking about the evolution. Okay? We stop here today. Unless there is any question, we can deal with it. Read this again carefully and see each thing that he is giving. Okay? He has used each words. Okay? Memory, association, simulation, sensation, memories, impulses. Give examples to yourself for each one. Volition, emotions. There are no volitions in plant life, not apparently. Emotions are there, but you don't see it. Mental associations are there even in plants. When someone tears the leaves roughly, the plant remembers. And when the man approaches the plant, there is a reaction, mental reaction. There is a vital reaction which can be measured with an electrode. You put in and it shows a certain vibration, which the vibrations of a plant can be distinguished as pleasure and pain. Because the oscillograph pattern becomes different. Okay? So, very interesting. So we stop here today. 8:40. Au revoir, everybody. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Dada. Au revoir.
Thank you, Ranga.
Okay. Next we go to, but when we come to man.
Thank you, Ranga.
Okay, au revoir, everybody. That page.